Do looks matter? Abso-fucking-lutely. And in this video, I'm gonna explain why. What's up everyone, it's Mata the Get Game Guy, and today I was kind of inspired to select this topic because it was kind of in my mind as I was meditating, and I wanted to get a little bit more in depth because I know that I have this conversation repeatedly with people, usually women, and their thing is they say, well, looks don't matter to me, I look beyond that. And I'm like, you're full of shit in my head, and hopefully I don't say it out loud because these women aren't lying. It's just they're saying what they're conscious and aware of. And that's the thing. We're only conscious and aware of maybe 5% of our thoughts and the things that go on in our body. We have no clue. So many processes that are going on. And the remaining is basically controlled by our subconscious, the inner workings of our mind that we just have no clue any of that stuff that is going on, but it is. And it's basically evolved through humankind, through evolution, and we can see the qualities and the traits, the things that we have developed, the mutations that we have found adaptive, the things that we have found to be beneficial towards our survival as a species. And we can now basically, we can better lean on science, and some evolutionary psychology has produced a lot of great information about, you know, the psychology as it has evolved over time. And we know a lot more about men and women and what really makes them tick than just saying, well, I'm not attracted to, I don't care about physical stuff. You do. You do. Whether you're a man or a woman, you do. But what I want to do in this video is I want to basically not attack, but go on and respond to, say, the woman. Because it's usually women who are saying that I don't care about, you know, looks. You do. And we're going to get into it a little bit more on this board, but real quick, I'll give you a nice little example that I usually come back at a woman with, and I'll share with them this thought. Okay, so if you're really into personality and all that, the non-physical traits, well, would you connect with a guy that I were to set you up with if I told you I knew a great guy? And here's all the things that you should know about the guy. He's charming. He's witty, he's intelligent, he's successful, he's resourceful, he's compassionate, he's empathetic, he's kind, all this great stuff, right? And any woman should be swooning, okay? But attached to this guy and all those great non-physical qualities is the physical body. So now let me describe the physical body that is along with that entire package, ladies, and tell me how excited you are. He is 5'2", he's got really bad acne, he's bald, and he's got like a little stringy ponytail that he's trying to grow out in the back. And you've seen that guy. What else? He's got just one leg. So no accident, he just was born with one leg, and one arm is longer than the other. And you know, so we got all these things going on. Oh, and he has like really teeth that are like going in all the directions, okay? How excited, oh, by the way, he's 450 pounds. How excited are you to meet that guy? Well, it gets real quiet when I share that, okay? It gets real quiet because people see my point and they're like, fuck, looks do matter. But most of the time, they don't want to concede or see my point of view, or just take a step back and say like, oh, I can see where you're coming from. So it gets real quiet at that point. But think about that. Looks do matter, all right? This is something that guys have been championing for a very long time. Some women are trying to be in denial about it, but it really doesn't do anyone any good for us to deny this because we know this information now. So guys know, like, beyond their anecdotal evidence, you know, of being like, well, yeah, there's scientific evidence to just be like, yes, this is true. Looks do matter. So when guys go up and approach a woman, looks do matter. So if we were to deny something that we do have knowledge about, we're basically handicapping ourselves, you know, from being more successful in this field of attraction and dating. So we just want to get some good information out there. So what I want to do is talk about why looks do matter, and let's talk about this from the female perspective. So both men and women, over time, millions of years, hundreds of thousands of years, of course, the human species evolved. All right. Now, as it evolved, both men and women had two primary drives. Okay, now these two drives were basically why we're here. Okay, the two major ones were survival. That's number one. And number two reproduction. These are what we needed to both live our life and pass our genes along, right? And that's, if you can't do that, you can't have a species, you can't exist. You're going to be extinct if you can't survive and if you can't reproduce, okay? So now we're looking at this like from the perspective of how is this impacted by looks? And when we're talking looks, physical traits, okay? Now, the thing that I'll share about physical traits is that I don't believe that they're the most important traits. Really don't. The most important traits are the non-physical. They're unfortunately the ones that are a little bit harder to identify and recognize. So these are the qualities, the things that you're looking for in a man or a woman. Things like compassion, empathy, kindness, open-mindedness, intelligence, humor, wittiness, that sort of thing. Those are non-physical traits, and that's going to be really, really important when we get past just the sexual phase, when you really just want to have someone complimenting you and someone whom you enjoy spending your life with, just having conversations with their company and growing together with them, for if that's going to be the partnership lifestyle that you desire. So we're looking just at looks and physical traits for women, for men, because women are looking at this. They're looking at the looks for guys, the physical traits for two purposes: the drive to survive and the drive to reproduce. So what sort of traits would be beneficial to a woman over time? And we can go back to Paleolithic times, or we could talk, basically they're still the same, applying still here in 2018. So things that would be beneficial for survival would be, let's say, a strong physique. If you have a strong physique, and I'm going to put a V. The V shape is a woman's preferred body shape for a man. What is it? Why? Because this V shape, it represents strength in the upper body, it represents power, and that's going to be better able to do things like protect her, whether it was from a tribe, or whether it's going to be from muggers, or whether it's just going to be from, some guy harassing her as she just wants to go to the movies with you on a date. Now, a strong physique can also be beneficial for providing. It would allow a man to be a better hunter. And yeah, women helped with, the food, but men were the hunter. So the strong physique would be beneficial for their ability to provide. And a strong physique is also going to affect status. So this is something that would have offered status within a tribal Paleolithic community, and it would also, if you've got a great physique, that also is going to provide you with some status in any room that you enter. So we've got just the physique, protection, providing status. All right, okay, so that's all just about survival. All right, what else? Well, height. And we're going to go with being tall. Okay. Why would a woman care if a guy's tall? Well, it's because people care if a guy's tall, all right? Just period. People care if a man is tall. What will he get? He'll get the benefit of the doubt a whole lot. He'll get the benefit of the doubt as far as, I don't want to mess with that guy. He's tall. He can probably protect himself and others. People also prefer people who are taller. They tend to associate that quality with being a good leader or someone worthy of status just because they're tall. This is something that politicians have long understood, and there's a certain physical look for a politician if you were to create a template. But being tall provides you some definite benefits, okay? It'll also, if we're saying, it'll help people provide status or perceive status. It also, if there's perceived status, guess what? That person is probably going to get the benefit of the doubt in social situations, so that status is going to be impactful for that woman's survival if, this guy is respected in the community. And in 2018, beyond being respected within a tribe and providing that sort of protection to a woman, then it's also in 2018, you could say, well, if a guy is tall, well, he can be associated with being more successful because taller people tend to get the job more often than shorter people, all things being equal. It's just the same thing as far as if you're good looking versus not someone who isn't physically good looking, with the facial features, and that's the perception of you. If all things being equal between you and the other person, you're going to get the job if you're better looking. So for survival purposes, the drive of a woman, she can't help it. She's been wired to appreciate the right physique, that V shape. She's been wired to appreciate height. And there are also some elements that we're going to get into now in reproduction, because we're just taking a small piece of the pie. I'm just saying, like, here's how looks, physical traits impact a woman's selection process, okay? Well, now she has to consider reproduction. So how do looks matter here? I'll tell you why. Because when you're going to reproduce, you need shelter. So this is protection. And that protection is going to be better provided from a guy who has a strong physique. Might make him a better provider, better hunter. He might have a better shelter just because of his status, because of being tall. Might have gotten a better spot, and so then we've got his ability to provide, and this could be food. Back in the day, food, but nowadays it could be, money. So I'll reverse those, but food and money. 2018, money. If you're tall, if you're good looking, physically, facially, but it impacts a woman's thoughts of like how you can provide. So she might not be worried about your ability to hunt elk, but subconsciously she might be thinking that a taller guy is going to be associated with being able to provide financially. Okay, that's important when she's thinking about reproducing. So we also have the thoughts of what genes is this guy going to pass along? So now let's think about quality genetics. And here's the thing. Women did evolve to be selective for genetics. You had to, because if you didn't, if you were to have a strong physical attraction to, say, men who were one-legged, well, if that was a specific mutation, would that be the sort of mutation you would want to pass along to children? Would that be the sort of mutation or the genetics that would offer your children a better chance of life? No. No. So what a woman's looking for quality genetics, she's looking for things like symmetry. Remember the guy that I told you had asymmetrical arms and he had one leg? Obviously, he would have been more attractive if he had both legs and both arms were the same size. So these are basically indicators of the quality of his genetics. Okay, if he's symmetrical or not, that's an indicator of the quality of his genetics. Women are also able to smell pheromones. So that's just kind of a side piece. That's something where, beyond, if we're talking about genetics, just throwing that in there, because women can actually smell pheromones, and it's not so much physical that you can see it, but when I remember I was talking about how you have these wirings within you that you may not even know about. Women can smell pheromones, and they may or may not even be aware of it, but they may smell somebody and have this kind of perception towards it, positive or negative. And one of those things that we women evolved to do was be able to smell some pheromones and identify whether it's too similar to their DNA or if it's dissimilar enough to be advantageous. So it's like inbreeding. You wouldn't want to have the similarity of genes be too strong, or it's bad for reproduction. So just throwing that in there. Other ways that you can assess for genetics. Remember I gave that example of bad skin or any signs of disease, bad teeth, and though it's not physical, bad breath. Those would be signs of possible infection, weakened immune system. So when it comes to these two main qualities, survival and reproduction, we can see looks do matter. Women do take this information and have for a very long time, hundreds of thousands of years, going all the way back down to Paleolithic times and beyond. We've been assessing these traits. All right. And we have because they've been beneficial to our survival as a species, to not only our survival, but to our children, so that we could remain humankind. All right. The human species, Homo sapien, without a woman being selective for physical traits, we wouldn't be here. So I get it when women are saying that I don't look for physical traits. I think what you're really trying to say is that you can look beyond physical traits for the non-physical, and you can also be saying that you appreciate the non-physical traits very, very much. You've developed a greater recognition or awareness and appreciation for them. And that's great because as I said, those are the most important traits. We're talking about long-term companionship. You're going to be spending, way more time just in someone's company than in their arms physically and in active sex. So that's why when guys are saying looks do matter, like, it's true, because whether you know it or not, a woman, by the time you have walked over from a social situation to go introduce yourself and you're walking over, she could be doing things like assessing your body language. Imagine if a guy walks over like this and she sees him walking over, she's not going to be receptive to that guy. She knows before he says one word, she's not interested. She also knows that if he's looking just like fidgeting, he's trying to talk, he's like, he's got like fidgets, tics, whatever it is, he's nervous. She already knows. All right, it doesn't look good. So physical, appearance and demeanor and actions do matter. All right. That's also why a smile can help someone let down their guard. But what we're just wanting to do is just point out, looks do matter. All right. So it doesn't help us, men or women, to pretend or deny that looks don't matter. They do. So what I want you men to understand is that you're not totally screwed. Okay? Because there are things that you can do beyond. Remember, I said the non-physical traits are the most important. Develop those. And there are some things that you can do physically to improve yourself. For example, if you're going to be judged by your appearance, well, you might not be able to shape your height. I'm 5'9", I can't turn myself into being 6'2" and being able to dunk a basketball. But what I have done is, I've dissatisfied with my look, and I was like, you know what? I'd like to get into lifting weights. And so I've done that for years. I've impacted and shaped my body, and I've worked on developing that V shape, and that is something that makes me feel good about myself, and it's just something for me. But it also has this benefit of when people are looking at me, they might not see 6'2", but they can see a guy that's got the V shape. They can see some good things about me. And also, if we're talking about what else is in your power, physical appearance. All right. So you can't be saying that, like, oh man, there's something wrong with these women. They're all crazy. They don't like a good guy. Well, maybe they just don't like you because you walk around wearing sweats all the time. Maybe you wear that ratty shirt. It smells, it's got holes. Your hair is unkempt. Your facial hair is just a mess all over the place, and you're like, that's just me, that's how I do. Well, get used to it, that women are going to assess you by your physical appearance. All right. So we've said that impacts their survival, that impacts their reproduction. Why would they not? All right. Because if you're going around looking sloppy, looking like a loser, looking weak, looking unhealthy, well, shit. I mean, like, I'm sorry. What do you expect? Like, if you were in her shoes, you would also discard yourself and look for a better option. All right. So there's a whole lot of things that are going on unconsciously with women's minds. So don't knock them. They're just being smart. Guys, you have your own things that you're looking for subconsciously, and that's okay. But the looks do matter. And that's what I want you all to understand. I think we can have a lot healthier move forward, both men and women, if we can acknowledge this, because this is like the thing that we don't talk about. We don't like to say that looks matter, but they fucking do. And that's okay. All right, so hopefully we've gotten through to some of you, a lot of you out there, so that you understand a little bit better, because you're going to have this conversation in the future, or you're going to be put in this situation where you're going to be like, do looks matter? You'll talk with somebody and they'll say, looks don't matter. You'll be able to tell them, well, actually, there's some really good reasons why looks do matter to women, and I can understand them, and let me share them with you. And that'll also help you as a man and help you understand, like, hey, there's some things that you need to address. If you've got bad teeth, you can fix that. You know, maybe they need to be whiter, maybe they need to be straightened, maybe some need to be pulled, maybe you've got some weight to lose, you know, not just for your health, not just for you, but also so that you can attract a physical partner that you find acceptable. Maybe the physical partner, the romantic partner that you're looking for, she's not going to go for you when you're 400 pounds or 300 or 250. You know, it just depends. I'm not saying don't love yourself, don't love your body. I'm just saying, like, if you're 400 pounds, that's going to be a fucking issue, okay? Like, get over it. That's the truth. So look at that and let's try and do what we can, and hopefully that's getting better. One thing that I'm always trying to do is remind you of what is in your control. And even if you can't control how tall you are, even if there are certain things that you can't control about the way you were born, that's fine. What you're doing watching this video is you're upping your game. You're stimulating your mind. You're growing in certain ways. You're growing in awareness. You're growing in understanding. You're growing in social intelligence. You're growing in attraction intelligence. So your mating intelligence going up. So we're going to offset some of those things. If you're like me and you're not 6 feet tall, well, it helps if you have a whole lot of other great qualities. Work on the physical that are in your control, and work on the non-physical that you can impact as well. And I say that for both men and women, you gotta grow. And the biggest reason why you have to grow is because we're living in an information age. And this is something that I'm just onto right now. Is like, I'm realizing how much we really are in an age of information, and there are people no better than you in your exact same situation, exact same concerns, exact same challenges, kicking ass more than you because they're doing more to grow in this information age. So I like that you're watching this video. That's what we're talking about, because that'll help you grow. And I encourage you and challenge you to continue growing, grow your game, grow your social intelligence, because when you do that, you'll be able to be smart enough for you to not make the same mistakes as other people where they're going around saying looks don't matter, or I can't do anything about my looks. We talked about some of the things that you can do with your looks, and also why it's important. So you know, it's important that you understand, like, why you can't just be a guy and be like, well, fuck it. It is what it is. I'm just gonna be whatever. So if I drink 12 beers, it won't make a difference, because if I gain 3 pounds this week, it won't make a difference. It's just, I'll still have the same success with women. No, no, no. Looks matter. So maybe that might be the motivation that you need to change your diet, change your lifestyle, be more active, do things to impact your appearance, because most of the time there are healthy things that you can do with your appearance. Notice I'm not saying anything crazy. I'm not saying do any plastic surgery. I'm not saying elongate your legs by going to a doctor and having them extend you. I'm not saying any dumb shit. I'm saying reasonable things that anyone should be open to listening to. Maybe you need to lose some weight. Maybe you need to work out. Maybe you need to change your lifestyle to get some more sun. Maybe you need to change your lifestyle to just be a little bit more healthy, fit, and active. Maybe you need to, you know, dress better, get a haircut, shave more often, get a new hairstylist, something. These are all things in your control, and I want you to take control of your life. So that's it for you all. Looks, do they matter? Fuck yeah. Thanks for watching. If you appreciated the content, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you believe that learning about better strategies for life and love is advantageous, I invite you to join Get Game Group. Membership is free, open to men and women, offers weekly game video lessons, and a weekly mailbag for member submissions. Click the link in the description to join.